The news of the day, we have to talk about Candace Owens no longer being in partnership or no longer working for, being employed by, connected to Daily Wire. Now, of course, for those of you who listen to my intro, or you know who I am, or whatever the case may be, you know that Candace and I are like brother and sister. She's one of my really good friends. We've been friends ever since she was Red Pill Black, way back in 2015, 16, or something, somewhere around there. And so we've been friends ever since. So as soon as I heard the news, I obviously texted her and you know, had just a quick statement to her like, hey, you need anything type of thing. I didn't want to, you know, get into the nitty gritty. I know it's probably a time that she want to relax and, you know, spend time with her family and reflect on what she need to do. However, I do think and have some commentary on what I think happened and who do I think may take it worse than the other person, if that makes sense. You know, I honestly think it all became an issue when Candace Owens started giving her opinion about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, I haven't listened to every single thing Candace Owens has said. The things that I have listened to, I don't necessarily agree 100% yet. Me and her were supposed to have a conversation about some of these things because she had some stuff that I hadn't read and I hadn't been aware of. However, I don't think that what she said is somehow antithetical to Daily Wire's mission or antithetical to the Jewish community. I watched her interview debate with a Jewish rabbi. I think he was a rabbi. He wrote a piece about her, article about her, and she brought him on the show to talk about it. And I listened to the first 22 minutes of that interview, and I felt like this is nor here nor there. Like, this guy is making a insinuation or a judgment about Candace because he don't know Candace. So he's taking something she said out of context, building a judgment about her, and it's simply because he don't know her. And if you don't know her, maybe you would think that that's what she meant. But it's irrelevant. It's a moot point because if you know her, you know that's not what she meant. So what's the point of you writing the article? The article becomes null and void. And so it just, to me, the interview seems as if people are reading two sheets of music. Some people have this affinity for their religion and their race and their culture, whatever. They have an affinity for it. I get it. But I don't think a person is wrong if they disagree with that. For instance, y'all know that every day on the radio that I had a chance to talk about the Israel-Palestine conflict, I'm honest about how I feel about it. And maybe I'm a lot more brash than a lot of other people. I think that the conflict is something between those two countries, or at least that country within itself, if you want to say Gaza's a different country. But that's what Israel's dealing with. To be honest, it comes secondary to the things that I care about here in the United States of America. However, I have an opinion. I went to Israel last year. Of course, I'm a Christian. I love the Bible. I love biblical history. I love Jewish history, all of the above. And so I may be a little more partial towards Jews than I am towards Muslims in Palestine. And so when the conflict occurs, I see a group of people flying into Israel with helmet cameras on, beheading people and raping people and killing over 1,000 people. Like, to me, it goes without saying there has to be some retribution. There has to be retaliation. There has to be a military response that eliminate this from happening ever again from Hamas, and for everybody in the region to know that we will retaliate with no remorse. And if innocent people die as a result, I blame Gazans, I blame Hamas, I don't blame Israelis. They're going to go in and they're going to execute the military personnel in Hamas, the terrorist group. They're going to go and bomb places that they have strategic information that they're housing weapons. They're going to hit strategic targets. It's not up to Israel to go in and make sure that every single kid's the hair on their head doesn't get scratched. That is up to Hamas and their country. Now, I'm not for innocent people losing their lives, but look, at the end of the day, y'all started this. And now you finna take an L. And you should have thought about that before you flew into somebody's country and killed and raped and pillaged their innocent people, and you still got hostages. Anyway, I have an opinion about that. And I think that Candace Owens sees it a little different. Just like my wife. I think my wife and Candace Owens see it very similarly, slightly different in the way I see it, but not in a way in which I think that I'm going to come out against Candace for what she said. No, people have their opinions. People can have an opinion. People can differ in their theology. And you have to understand your own biases or biases. Because I feel like Ben Shapiro is obviously biased towards Judaism. He is a Jew. He wears the yarmulke. Like he is an Orthodox Jew. I don't know if they call it Orthodox Jew. I consider him Orthodox because Dennis Prager don't wear a yarmulke. So I consider Ben Shapiro a little more Orthodox than Dennis Prager. And so he has to understand that, yeah, your emotions may be heightened with what happened in Israel, but people that don't have a connection to Israel may not feel the same way. People that don't have a connection and may not be privy to the history, or maybe they are privy to the history, they just disagree with the perspectives in history. They may have a different perspective. They may see it very differently. They may see killing in general as a bad thing and they think it should end on both sides. I get that. I would understand that. I would disagree with that if I was a staunch Jew and I came from Israel and I have a lineage. I may be a little more offended by it. But I can look across the aisle and say, this person don't have the connection that I have. That's probably why they say the things that they say. Are they acting in good faith or are they being malicious? That's what we should be considering. So, but I don't think Candace Owens is going to be in a bad position. I mean, Candace Owens is a rock star. And if people haven't noticed that at this point, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but Candace Owens is a star. With or without Daily Wire, she's going to be highly successful. I would argue that this opens her up to even bigger opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised if she don't have a contract with X. I wouldn't be surprised if she's not on Patrick Bet-David's network. What is it called? Valuetainment. I wouldn't be surprised if she don't get a spot making $20 million a year at Fox. I don't know if she'll take that one because Fox is just as censoring as anything else. But Candace is in no way, form, or fashion going to be affected long term by the decision to split ways. I think that Daily Wire will be affected because it's like the kids, they tend to love their mama more than their daddy. I'm just being honest. When they get older, they begin to appreciate their dad. But when they're young, the kids love their mom more than they love their dad. So if mama and daddy get a divorce, where do you think the kid's going to go? More times than not, they're going to go with mama because they feel the connection with mama that they don't feel. And when you're a personality working for a big conglomerate company, you like mama in that situation. And the kids, if the breakup happens, the kids are going to go with mama. They have a connection with mama. They don't have a connection to the big conglomerate company like they do to the individual. And I honestly believe that Candace Owens is going to draw a lot of people away from Daily Wire because the way it happened, it's coming across wrong. Because she just went on Breakfast Club. She just had an interview with that rabbi dude, and which, if you're a Candace Owens fan, you would think that she won that debate. And then she separates employment with Daily Wire. That just doesn't make sense. That just doesn't add up. All the stuff that she's done, the social media platforms that she's had and created with Daily Wire, it just makes no sense for them to have a departure in like the middle of what I think was becoming a really good positive thing. So that's my opinions. There's a whole bunch of other stuff to talk